Babachir, Dogara, who made you kings over us? According to the second book of the Bible, Exodus 12:14, when Moses wanted to separate two Israelites who were fighting, one of the fighters asked him, "Who made you an official judge over us?" Moses then was a self-appointed leader. God had not yet called him. He appointed himself. Just as it happened during the Old Testament days of Moses, two prominent Nigerians and chieftains of the APC have appointed themselves as official spokesmen and defenders of Christians in the north of Nigeria. Since the unveiling of Senator Kashim Shettima by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as his running mate on Wednesday, July 20th, 2022, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF Babachir Lawal, and former Speaker of the House of Representatives, retired Honorable Yakubu Dogara, have appointed themselves as spokespersons and defenders of Northern Christians. Curiously, Daily Trust of July 12th, 2022, published a story revealing how Babachir's panel recommended Kashim Shettima ahead of 10 other persons. But even before the unveiling of Shettima by Tinubu, Babachir started strongly condemning the Muslim ticket of the APC. Dogara has added his voice in the same vein. For some time now, they have been operating as pari passu, as political emergency Northern Christian leaders for mesh of porridge. Apart from speaking through the media, the duo went as far as organizing an APC Northern Christian Leaders Summit, which held recently in Abuja with no backing of renowned Christian leaders like General Yakubu Gowon, General Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma, Senator Dr. Barnabas Gemade, Professor Jerry Gana, Air Commodore Dan Suleiman, General Zamani Lekot, amongst others. At the summit on Friday, July 29, Dogara kicked against the Muslim presidential ticket of APC, and he maintained it was hogwash to assert that no Christian was competent to be Tinubu's running mate. Dogara further asserted that the ticket would create disunity in the party and the country at large, while describing Tinubu's choice of Shettima as a fatal error of judgment. Wow. Well, really, if anything, at this point, I even think that APC must have even staged this to make for the look of genuineness, and I guess remove any air of manipulation. They'd want, I guess, two people in their camp. I mean, people have been decamping, but for people who are in the APC, strong members, you'd say, to be very vocal about this. Everything is suspicious. You can't just take what is given to you. And I genuinely think it may just be a tactic by the APC for people to see the APC as genuine in the fact that he might have made his decision, for the fact that people don't agree shows that it wasn't just like they all came together and this was a plan. So the aspect of strategy, the oneness that they want to achieve something, is removed. So that strategy makes Nigerians then underestimate them and make them look incompetent. And that is perfect what they're playing. And what I was saying is because I felt that, with the rise of Peter Obi and the support, I was like, what? Yes, you're supporting him, but do not support Peter Obi to the extent that other parties, especially APC, you'd perfectly create the platform for them to be the underdogs, and they will play that card so well, and it would shock you with the results that come out. And I was just saying that, and I think that's really what it is, to remove any sort of suspicion of corruption or oneness in terms of the plans that they have to destroy Nigeria. So when we say that there's some sort of disunity, it sort of gives Nigerians that are supporting Peter Obi that kind of hope that, oh, okay, this party, especially this party that has been using structure, the argument of structure against Peter Obi, now its own structure is failing. So it's these are tactics for us to underestimate them. And perfectly, as I said, and also strategically, they have just managed to be center of the conversation for so many weeks. I'm like, the conversation is getting boring. I mean, not that the conversation is unimportant or relevant, but at a time, I think it's the pressure that got to them. At a time, you could not talk about anything but but Peter Obi. You really couldn't. You couldn't talk about anything but Peter Obi. It was very overwhelming on social media, and a lot of people then felt, why are you forcing this man on us? And it really wasn't. The man was just everywhere. So, it can get so intense, and you may think, what, why are you forcing this guy on me? And a lot of people thought that, and it really wasn't that. And I think at that time, it was so embarrassing. I saw it embarrassing because conversations with other political parties, it's like it was comparison. So you had Peter Obi, Labour Party in the middle, and you just had the other parties surrounding. They really couldn't take that center stage. But I think right now, APC has managed to do that, and not necessarily because it wants to show that it's good. It just wants to they want to be in the news because it puts their names in people's mouths. The conversation keeps running and running. You get to know these people. You know that they're there. And I think that is something they struggled with, and they couldn't handle it. They just could not handle Peter Obi getting all the attention. So now this is their way of being strategic, and that's just my personal opinion. So in this case, I don't take what these Babachir and Dogara are doing. I'm not necessarily taking it as a genuine fight. They may literally just, it's like good cop, bad cop. So it's like you genuinely just think you person's on your side or not on your side, but they're trying to give you an image to feed into, and really what it is for you to underestimate them and underestimate the results they're going to achieve. And again, everyone may argue competence, but the way they see it and how they've been winning for years is they see it as a game of numbers, not competence. So you might use that as your strategy, but for them it is not. And so what they want you to do is underestimate them at their own game that they're experienced at. Listen, your person may be competent, may tick all the boxes of a sane country, of a same country president, but you also have to understand the population. You also have to understand that they have their supporters. You have to understand they have been playing this game for so many years. They are not inexperienced. In fact, they know better. In fact, some of them are better qualified. They know better. They're more exposed. But in the game of corruption, numbers, rigging, listen, it's simple. They've literally told you it's a game of numbers. That is what they're after. Whether they gain the numbers or they manipulate the numbers, it's a game of numbers. They've simplified democracy to that one line. It's a game of numbers. Why? Because no matter what the standards are, they just want to win. So personally, I think this Babachir Dogara thing is my opinion at the end of the day. I don't think it's anything genuine to look at and say, yes, not that they may not speak facts or they may not argue relevant things, but you also have to think of it holistically. What is the APC trying to achieve? You have to look at their actions in the last how many weeks with hiring fake bishops, with just doing certain things that would keep them in the news, that would just keep them, in people's mouths to talk about them. We have to think of it holistically. It is competition out there and strategy. Put what you think about it in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.